Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Well, I think I got all the parts clean, and I made new gaskets where we needed new gaskets, and I think we're ready for some reassembly. So I guess I'm going to start by pressing that crank back on that end plate that goes on here and start getting things put together. Okay, I got the crank pressed back in. Got to get the timing marks lined up correctly. And this only goes in one way, I found out when I tried to get it out, so I would assume that that lines up the marks fairly closely. Now it's going to take a bunch of manipulating, but I'll get that. You guys don't need to waste time watching me figure that out. I just got a line of timing marks up. Okay, getting that crankshaft in there turned into quite a wrestling match. I wound up putting it on the base just because it was tipping all over it, give it a lot more stability. But because that crankshaft only goes in there in one position, the timing marks didn't line up. You couldn't turn the crank because there wasn't clearance enough till you got this plate in. I wound up counting the number of teeth and offsetting the cam so that when I put it together and I was able to turn it, that they would line up, and it worked out okay. So I got that all done. Now I'm ready to put the governor back in. If you remember right, the one screw was laying down in the bottom of the governor, and it just has these screws like this. It takes a slotted head, so I went over in my metric bolt collection from things I've scrapped, and I found a couple of bolts that have a 10mm head, so I feel a lot better about being able to tighten them down adequately. So we'll get it tossed in there. Wow. Boy, that socket doesn't have a lot of clearance in there. Huh. Well, listen to that up to see what's going on. I got a center socket, it's kind of a fat one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, make sure everything moves all right, yeah. Yep. Okay, we got that done. So I think next what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you remember, but I couldn't figure out how this thing gets oil up to this hole in the crankshaft. So you don't see any oil pump and there's no dipper. I'm thinking there's some kind of a centrifugal deal here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the crankcase up, I think, to where it normally would be, and I think it's going to be below this level. And then I'm going to spin this thing around and hopefully I'm going to see some oil coming out of there. So that's my next move. Well, I couldn't lay that side cover off because the oil got too deep. It comes up to about there. But I was able to spin it with my drill, and it does pump oil. So apparently that, whatever that is on the end of the crankshaft, those gears carry the oil up to that, and then that centrifugally throws it out. And I can show you there on the floor from here. And it also flew out over here onto the floor on this side. So I guess it does pump oil. So I guess we'll get on with putting the rest of it together. That problem is not a problem anymore. Okay, I got the piston and cylinder all mounted back in, rods all tightened up, the locks are locked, and everything seems good. So before I put this together, I measured it. It's 65 millimeters this way and 70 millimeters stroke. So I'm not sure what that's going to turn into horsepower wise. I'll have to try to find something to compare to. So next I guess we get the head and these rocker tubes and all that good stuff back on. Okay, got the head back on, push rod tubes in place, got it torqued down, and got the valve set. I decided to go with the 8 on the intake and 10 on the exhaust. I don't know what they're supposed to be, but figure that's kind of the middle of the road. So we'll give her a little douse of oil all over the place here where we think we might need it. And we'll stick the valve cover on. Okay. So, stick my finger over the hole where the injector goes. Okay, so that works. So next I guess we got an ejector to put on yet, and flywheel and all that good stuff, so we'll get at that. Before I installed that injector, maybe I better hook it up and see if it's going to work. So I got a temporary tank and some diesel fuel going into the pump, and it does spray. Say, I don't know much about diesels, so I don't know if it's right or not, but it is spraying fuel, so hopefully it's right. Okay, got the injector in, got the flywheel on. Can't stand it, gotta see if it'll do anything. I don't expect my drill to be able to do much, but let's try it anyways, just for the fun of it. Oh, jeepers. Thought I seen some smoke. Holy mackerel, it's hard on the wrist. Guess I'll have a little better hold of it this time, maybe. Well, obviously the drill isn't going to start it, but hey, we're seeing some smoke. I think that's a good sign. Okay, I think I got her all reassembled. Fuel tank's on, all the shrouding's on, got fuel in the tank. I got a starter rigged up and a big pulley on the stub shaft. And I got a piece of tin here. In case it does start and something's not good, I can just put on there and block off the air. Gonna just hook the ground up and pull this back and see what we get. Well, she's definitely not rolling fast enough. Plan B, which I don't know what is yet. Okay, got a smaller pulley on it. Gonna give her another try. Okay, not sure what the next move is. Gonna try to think of something else. Yeah, that was interesting. What I did was I did the same thing I did before, but while it was rolling over, I took the torch and put a little heat in front of the intake. And she finally fired off. But it runs, but definitely not right, so I guess I'll mess around a little more. Okay, so maybe some of you guys know what I'm doing wrong. I just got thinking, this is the exhaust, this is the intake. I'm running it backwards. I'm not sure how I could do that. Apparently it turns the other direction and I'm trying to start it backwards. So maybe I'll try spinning it the other way. I can't believe it would run backwards. Well, I'm learning, I guess. I think I got it going the other direction now. I haven't tried it yet, so see what happens. Turn that off. I got so excited about everything. Oh well, testing that out too, I guess. Well, there she runs. I'm not sure if it just starting hard because it was just put together and needs to run a little, or whether I gotta have some source of heat to get her going. I don't know, but I'm making progress. Not sure you're going to be able to hear me, but it's been running for about 15 minutes. It's starting to get that diesel-y sound to it. Whereas before it sounded more like a gas engine. Seems to have cleared up a lot of smoke. Seems like it's running pretty decent. Governor seems to work okay. Not sure what I'll ever do with it, but at least I got to see it run. Okay, now that it's warm, I'm going to try restarting it. better. Guess it just needed to run a little, warmed up. I'm not sure how it's going to start when it's cold, but it sure started better when it's warm. Not sure what's going to happen at this point. I don't really have anything for it to do. Now I know it runs. I might just put her on the shelf for a while and try to figure out what to do with it. I guess we'll call this a video. We got to see it run. And if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. See you next time.